Hello and welcome back to the Fit and Fabulous at NEH podcast. Alongside with my amazing coaches here, I have Coach Amanda here with us today, 44, my mom, 57, who's also a coach for Fierce Queen Fitness. Each of us have our own transformations, physically, mentally, emotionally. We've also helped hundreds of women do the same thing. And we're here to talk about our struggles, things that have worked for us, things that haven't worked for us. So today, what we're diving in on our podcast is red flags of other coaches, programs, things that we've done that haven't worked for us, and things that maybe to watch out for when you were looking for coaches or when you were looking to, I don't know, even like as you're looking forward into the new year. So let's go ahead and dive in. Um, we can start, Mom and Amanda. I don't know. What are some red flags you guys have seen with certain programs or things? Maybe let's talk about like past historically, like what's worked for you and what hasn't.
Camille, you want to start? I was actually curious whenever you had that one coach, you said that was like a big red flag. Like they were a good coach, but they started you on some really like strict regimen. So I was curious to hear about.
I've had a couple of those, and they've actually been through my competitions. And I think those were the hardest to work through is when you have a coach and they just give you like food to eat and you don't like it. Like that's a big deal to me. I need to be able to eat my own food and how I like it. And I know that works for some people, but for me, I really need to be in charge of my own food. And so that was really hard. It was hard to stay with. And then they didn't listen to me. And that was really hard because then you stopped listening to them and you stopped trusting them. So that was really hard. I've done about everything
Yeah.
that's wrong, that hasn't worked. Like it worked for a while and then it didn't, and you can't get back on it. So those are probably really big flags
Let's
or big
start with
red
those,
flags.
Mom. Tell everybody what you have done because I think it's important for people to understand like there are a lot of things out there that may sound appealing at first, but ultimately, like, let's talk about what you did, why they didn't work, because I think that's important for the audience to hear, like, because a lot of women think like, oh, if I just do this, I should get results. And it's like,
Uh,
yeah, if you get results, that's one thing. But if you can't sustain them, it didn't actually work for you. Like I have clients be like, oh, I did keto or I did like this
So
diet and I did
hard,
fasting. And
so
they're like,
hard.
I did all these things and, can we just go back to that? And I'm like, yeah, but what happened afterwards? They're like, well, I gained 15 pounds. I'm like, then it didn't work. Like it didn't work for you if you can't sustain it. So let's talk about those things, Mom. Like,
Well, one
what
of
are some of
the
the things you did?
oh my gosh, I've done it all. And a lot of it's just because my body has been through so much. I've aged. I went through menopause, premenopause. I remember doing Beachbody years ago, and that was great to get me going. But it's like they give you a coach and it's great, but it works for so long. And then
Yeah.
you're supposed to like drink a shake, and that's supposed to give you miraculous results. But if you don't dial in your nutrition, um, it's just the shake. And it's like they don't really give you the basis of how to start your nutrition journey. I remember doing not, it's the one that you order that has Marie Osmond on there.
Is it Slim Fast? Is it I mean, I remember all the diets you did. Let's see. It was always in like you always had like these prepackaged foods.
Yes, that was one where you got the prepackaged foods and they came in little containers. You could only eat so much. And
Uh
and that it leaves you kind of hungry after each meal. And I know when
mhm,
you're trying to lose weight a little bit, your body does have to get used to a little bit less food than when you're binging. But
mhm,
that, with all of those, I just still would binge because I was never
mhm,
satiated. It never filled me up. I never learned the basis of nutrition. I think what's changed for me now is tracking and macros because I get to eat what I want. I get to make what I want,
mhm,
and I can count like I'll eat eggs and cottage cheese and egg whites and toast. And that's one of my
uh,
meals with avocado on top of it. And I track that and it's what I like. It's what my body likes. Where the others, I would be so hungry. Like you can do it for a week or two and then you're like, I'm starving. And then your
yeah.
willpower just gives and then you binge and then you have to start over. And that's just so frustrating and it beats down on you. So I've done it all. I've done autoimmune paleo when my stomach was so sick. I had to do allergy tests. And that I remember walking down the food aisles at the grocery store
That's
right
so sad.
before I started, and I remember just walking down them and just getting teary-eyed 'cause I'm like, "I can't eat these again, I can't eat these again," and
That's sucky.
I would just cry, and it's so sad, it's like I was saying goodbye to my besties, and then I would start that, but I will never, ever, ever do something like that again. I was hungry, I was not satiated, I was
Yes.
inside of me, I had to say goodbye to a lot of the things I loved, and it
Yeah.
was depressing, and I did that for about 5 or 6 months. I was really good on it because my health depended on it. I was needing to get allergy tests, and then little by little, as I brought my food back in, I'm just like, "I will never do that again." I would much rather be in charge of my own food and what I like and learn balance in my life. And so that's what kind of it's like you do these things and you learn never again. I've got to do something that I can sustain, that I can live with because I it was miserable. It was just miserable. So I've
Yeah.
done it all.
I remember. I remember you. I think though, like what you're saying is like when you become so restrictive with
Oh,
anything, I mean, I feel like that's such a red flag. Anytime you have a coach restrict you or a program restrict you of foods you love, like that is a major red flag because it, like everything you just mentioned, women go through without really thinking they're going through it. They kind of go through this, like, it's almost like this mourning phase of like, "Oh, I can't
so
have that, like,
sad.
that sucks, like, I can't
So
have
sad.
chocolate, I can't have sugar, I can't have," but it's like, you totally can have all those things. You just if you're doing a program that restricts you of those things, so that program's not for you. And honestly, if there's any program out there that tells you you can't have foods you love, like, that's a massive red flag because that's going to lead you to restriction dieting, binging, overeating. I don't
So
care what
much.
who you are, all women love food to some extent, and that food might differentiate. I have some clients that love salty foods. I have some clients
Mhm.
that love sugar, but to be without the foods you love for a long period of time, like my mom was describing, like she's in the grocery store and
So
she's
sad.
sad because but that is sad. I've also been there too, where I'm like, I can't eat this. Even when I'm like in my peak weeks for my shows, like still eat chocolate. Like literally
Yeah.
part of my macros, like coming into my shows, I have chocolate. Like I'll have candy bars. I'll have like yummy little treats, but I do it every single day.
Mhm.
Like people look at me and they're like, "You must never have chocolate." I'm like, "No, I actually eat a lot of chocolate." And so do you, mom. So do you, Amanda. Like
Mhm.
you have to, but I would feel like a red flag you're saying is like the over restriction of you can't eat this, you can't eat like a whole list of foods you can't eat.
So
I'm sorry,
sad.
but that's a red flag. Red flag.
You can't
Yeah.
sustain it. You just can't. You won't. Like, you don't
Yep.
want to. And, like, you want to live your life and eat the
Mhm.
foods you love and be in charge of it because that's what'll keep you going.
Exactly.
It'll stay with you. So,
Yeah. Amanda, I know you've got a lot of Amanda, I only can see like half your face.
Is that better?
I wanna see all your face. You're so beautiful. There you
Oh,
are.
you're so
Okay.
sweet.
I know, so
Okay.
sweet and
Hopefully, you're so
pretty and
sweet.
bright.
Hopefully, you can hear me better. I had to put my earphones
Yes.
in because every time I start doing a live or Zoom, my cat's like, "Let me bathe right next to the phone."
Mm.
So,
Oh, okay.
so sorry. So anyway, yeah, that made me feel really sad, Camille, because I'm sure a lot of women, a lot of clients can relate to how you feel. Like you do feel like you're in mourning. Like I feel like some guys might get it, but I feel like women really can relate to this because we're told eat less, eat like small portions, don't overeat your dessert. And I remember
Oh,
being this,
yeah.
I remember being in your shoes, like when I did like Beachbody and nothing against these companies, Weight Watchers, and all of those companies that kind of make you have a bad relationship with food. And if you already have one, it makes it that much worse
Yeah.
because, like, for Weight Watchers, they're always changing their program. And I'm like, well, if it's working, why are they always changing it?
Yeah.
And, like, their point system, like, if you have something that's high in points, rest of your day, you had to eat, like, lettuce to be on
Oh,
your
that's
program. And I'm
right.
like, "How
That's
is that,
right.
like, sustainable?" Like, I had half of a burger, so now the rest of the day I'm done. So, no wonder why women are just throwing their hands up like, "It's me," and I'm like, "No." I have so many clients, and I'm sure Coach Brooklyn has way more than me, and Coach Camille will start to have some, and Coach Dakota, that will come to us, and they're, like, in tears, and they're like, "I'm broken, I'm the problem," and I'm like, "Okay, well, tell
Yeah.
me about it." They're like, well, I tried, keto, Atkins, paleo. And I'm like, well, it sounds like it's not you. It sounds everything you've tried is really restrictive and it's really hard to sustain. And they're like, yeah, but it worked 'cause I lost weight, like Coach Brooklyn said, but then I gained it all back plus some. Like, did it really work? Or did it just give you like a quick result because you weren't eating that much and now you don't know how to navigate? They don't educate you. They just put you into super low calories and anybody can do that, Women don't need that. We do that enough. So it makes me so sad, like when I hear Camille being like, I look up and down the grocery aisle and I can't eat these things. And I'm like, oh, so if women are listening to this and you ever have a coach or anyone that's like, you can't eat this, this, and this, and this, I'm sorry. They might be an amazing person and coach, but that's a red flag because that's only going to work until it doesn't.
Yeah,
Until you're
exactly.
going to catch yourself, right? Like laying in bed, hungry, craving, like miserable, and then you go to a family function or a party and you're not allowed to eat that food. Like that's just a horrible feeling. Like who wants to live like that? So the cool thing is it's such a great feeling when you get a message from a client that's like, I can't believe how much I'm eating and how nothing is off limits and I just went out to eat. And I had a client today, she was like, I want to eat, and I had a New York strip steak and my weight's down 2 days later. And I'm like, yeah, because you're allowing your body to like relax. It's not under stress constantly because a lot of these fad diets, like in the industry, it's always said, they make it sound like you should always be eating low calories. And I'm like, no, your body's going to start fighting back and it's not going to work anymore. And your metabolism's going to slow. Your thyroid's going to get, it's going to get messed up and things are just gonna start to go south. So when I see women that are like, I'm eating like my favorite foods and I'm losing weight because overall they're sticking to like whole foods and they're eating so much and they're like, I'm not even hungry. I'm like, that's where like icing on the cake is because you should not be hungry all the time in your diet. Like you should be a little bit hungry, maybe in the beginning, just because you're going from like a change, your body's changing, but you should not be like ready to like gnaw your fingers off. And if any coach is like, well, you gotta suck it out, that's a huge red flag. Huge.
Yeah. I love all those you said, Amanda. I feel like red flags, like kind of bringing together what mom said and you said, Amanda, like, number one, like if it's too restrictive and pulls away foods you love out of your diet, like that's number one red flag. If there's a bunch of lists of foods that they're saying are bad, like they're labeling them as bad or they're going to make you gain fat, that's also a red flag because I'm sorry, no one food is going to cause you to gain weight unless, and let me put this in preferences, you are allergic to it or you have digestive issues with it. Now that will cause you to hold more water because you're not absorbing the food. But that is a different conversation. Even me, like if I eat a lot of dairy, I get really bloated and I get a little constipated and I will break out with acne. And is it making my weight go up? Well, it's making my weight go up because I have a massive intolerance to it. But that's because I have an intolerance to it, not because it's a bad food, right? I have a lot of clients who eat dairy all the time and they feel fine on it. Like, mom, you love dairy. You're like cottage cheese all day.
I
So,
do.
like, I'm like, oh shit, she's having cottage cheese again. Like, but like, that's the thing. Like, I feel like if there's a big list of like, you can't eat this, that's a red flag. Another red flag is like if you go to the coach with like a question and they shut you down immediately and they don't try to educate you, that's also a red flag. Like follow the thing, I don't care what you say. Like, that's also a red flag. Like a good coach is one that's like, I won't lie, I definitely get frustrated sometimes if I have clients questioning me frequently. I'm like, oh my gosh, just freaking trust me. Like I've been doing this for a decade. I know what I'm doing. But I'm also happy to explain to them why it works because if they're bought in, they'll do it, right? If they understand, they'll do it. And then, yeah, like anything that, like, if you go to the grocery store and you are like so food focused, I feel like that's also a red flag because, your coach is probably restricting you from all the foods you love. So I feel like those are all red flags. I feel like another red flag for me when I worked with coaches is trying to fit me in a box.
Oh,
I worked with a coach, a bodybuilding coach years ago, and he tried to put me in this box of like all his athletes ate crazy high amounts of carbs. I have PCOS. I have a thyroid condition. I literally told him this. I have PCOS. I have a thyroid condition. and he like could not get my body to drop weight at all. If anything, I gained weight working with him, which was so frustrating because I was coaching myself before that. And I told him, and I did a show, and I was at like my heaviest weight. And he was like, I don't know why your body's not responding. I'm like, dude, I told you that if I eat over like 200 carbs a day, I start gaining weight. Like my body does not respond to that. But he didn't care. Like he just kept trying. He's like, well, you don't fit in my box. So I don't know how to help you. And I'm like, you're a shitty coach. Like, and I look back at that, and I'm like, that's a shitty coach. A good coach is one who uniquely looks at the individual client and says, okay, yeah, you're eating this many carbs or this many calories. Your body's not responding. Let's adjust. A good coach, I always say a good coach is one who it's like 50-50. Your client gives you a little bit of feedback, you listen to them, you make adjustments. Like I have one client that just struggled um with eating a lot of carbs. And so finally I just said, you know what? You don't want to eat a lot of carbs. I get it. Let's just meet you in this lower place. And she is doing amazing now, right? I have clients vice versa. They do well in moderate carbs. I have some clients who do well in really high carbs, but a bad coach is one who tries to fit you in a box and keep you in the box. A good coach is one who's like, okay, you are a unique person. I'm going to individualize the plan according to how your body's responding. Also, a good coach is one who makes outcome based adjustments.
Yeah.
If your coach
Yes.
doesn't like if I have clients that send me like their weight once a week, I'm like, "Why are you sending me this? This means nothing to me. I need you to send me your photos and I need you to send me your measurements and how you're feeling." Like, but if you just send me one form of data, I don't know how to help you. Who knows? You might be 104. Like I have a client. She's like, okay, you might be 104, but you might be looking worse. You might be 104, you might be looking better. But just because your weight's the same doesn't mean anything. So a good coach is going to be one who's also going to take in data from you and then make outcome based adjustments. A bad coach is going to be one that's like, what's your weight? Okay, we don't need to make changes because your weight's. No, a good coach is going to be like, I want photos, I want measurements, I want your biofeedback. How's your digestion? How's your energy? That's a good coach, period. So I feel like that's a red flag I see too. Like I had a client come to me. She goes, well, my coach just checked in with me every other week. I'm like, what were you guys doing? She's like, well, we were just doing weight. And I'm like, every other week? Wait, a lot can happen in 2 weeks. Like, I don't know. Our clients in First Queen, we are in pretty frequent and constant communication with them.
Well, and
So,
that's really important, constant communication, because like you say, a lot can happen in 2 weeks. I think a lot can happen in a week. Like you can get way
Yeah.
off
yeah.
track in a week, even 2 or 3 days if you're not on it. And I love the data. To me, it used to be hard because I'm like, dang it, like I wish I could just eat perfect. But when I started really giving my trust to the coach, I'm like, this is cool because he's really using this to help me. And so if you've had bad coaches in the past, it is hard with that trust to really trust a coach because you're scared it's not going to work. And you're just scared it's not going to work. But as you get with a coach and you realize you can trust them and you can send them the data because they're going to use this to help you. It's going to help you get better and help you learn what works for your body. So that is a big trust issue. Yeah, because I've had that. I had one coach that I was the closer I got to my competition, I remember Brooklyn like, "Mom, you're not eating enough food. Like, you're starving. Your body's losing." Like, she was seeing me just here I am, getting close to competition, and I just kept losing weight. I kept losing more and more weight. I was doing so much cardio.
But it wasn't like it was good weight. Like it was like
No, I
you
was
were
looking
looking flatter and
emaciated.
flatter. I was like, you were like losing all your muscle tone. I was like, what's happened? Like, it's, I call it the skinny fat look. Like when
Mhm.
you
It
see
was.
women who lose a bunch of weight and they just have no tone. Like when I saw you, I was like, oh my gosh, mom, like you've kind of lost some of your muscle and you've got like really pretty good
I
muscle.
I ended up really flat on stage, not just flat, but I had lost a lot of muscle because I let me see, I think I competed, I was 53 at that competition. It was coming out of COVID. I had just come out of a hip surgery and I wanted to compete
Oh.
again. I had competed before, but I had a hip surgery. COVID happened and we were just coming out of COVID. Um, I just she treated me like I was in my 20s, and such a sweet girl. Like, seriously, she was so sweet, and it wasn't her fault. It was kind of the program she was following, how to coach others, but she didn't listen to me, and she just put me on the same macros, like I was doing macros.
Yeah.
but she put me on the same macros that a lot of other women followed, but they were younger. And with me going through premenopause and then probably in menopause at that time, um, and I'd been through anxiety, so my body just ate up food like crazy. It just didn't work for my body. And I just kept getting skinnier. I did lose a lot of muscle. I looked at those pictures, and I had lost a lot,
Mm.
but it was, you just keep going and you try it because you want to make it work. Geez, I was at like the peak level. I was competing, but Brooklyn looked at me and we went out to this corner cafe bakery. She's like, Mom, you need a big sandwich. Like, eat the bread too, eat it.
Well, because she wasn't
So,
even giving you refeeds. Like, she would, like, had
no.
you on, like, low like, it's one thing, like, I get it. Like, as a competitor, like, I've got my pro card this year. Like, I have had to put myself in some pretty hard, like, pushing places. However, the difference is, like, I have refeeds. I have moments where I'm not pushing, like, and you have to, but
You have to.
she was, like, pushing you constantly. Like, it was, like, 7 days a week, you were
Grinding.
pushing and grinding. There was no refeeds, there was no reprieve. So, like, when you're trying to lose body fat as a female, you do have to kind of go to a place
Mhm.
where you do have to push your body. But if you're a good coach and you're working with a good coach, they understand that you need to have like refeeds, you need to have diet breaks, you need to have moments where you're like mom, I was like, Mom, eat a damn sandwich. Like eat something with like substance and more calories. That's good coaching. Bad coaching is a coach that's like, oh, you're not lean enough, push harder. A good coach will be like, oh, we're not where we want to be. We might need to like pull back for a few days and then we can push again.
And they
That's the
listen to
difference.
you. They listen to you. Like,
Yeah,
you stop listening as a client when they stop listening to you, or they just keep
that's
throwing
true.
things at you. And so I lost a lot of trust and I stopped listening. I remember even going to the competition and I just kind of ate my own food because I didn't trust it. And, now I have a coach that I absolutely adore and he gets me at my
Yes.
competitions. Like, he knows my body and he
Yeah.
listens. He takes all of the data and he just fine tunes it. He gives me breaks. Like, here I am in, I'm freaking Hawaii right now. And he's like, just enjoy yourself, Camille. We're in a good spot. Just enjoy yourself. And I'm like, cool. Like, I'm still going to be mindful, which is, I do have to be present for my husband and like really be present and play with him with food a little bit. But I do, I do, I eat my oatmeal in the morning, like I'm going to work out this morning. But I've had 3 days of, okay, 2 days of eating. One day I was just careful. And today I'll probably be a little bit more careful today. But yeah, I mean, so I listen to my coach now because he listens to me. Like, it's a two-way communication. And
Exactly.
that data is so important. It really helps you. And it helps you as a client see like, cool, like this stuff is working for me. Like, my food is working for me. I can eat what I like. And oh my gosh, look at what's happening. So it's like you start trusting yourself too. And that's really fun, isn't it? I mean, I see you nodding your head, Amanda.
Yeah.
And I know Brooklyn too, like she's had to get to that spot too where she trusts Paul. And like, it's important to trust your coach.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that.
Absolutely.
I love that. I couldn't agree more. I really feel like there's a big disconnect sometimes with certain programs with coaches and the client, and the coach like kind of takes over and is like, "Well, just do what I say." The client doesn't really have a voice, or if they
mhm.
express a concern, the coach kind of like Brooklyn said, like kind of pushes back, like, "Well, I don't know why your body's not responding," and then you're like,
Like it's your fault. I
like,
hate
it's
that so
my
much.
fault, my body's not
Yeah.
responding to what you're doing. So, like you said, a coach that understands that will take that data and run with it and be like, let's change something because obviously it's not working. And they have, I actually learned in nutrition, precision nutrition, you should always have as a coach a beginner mindset. And it might
Mhm.
sound weak, but
That's
it's
true.
actually really empowering. As a coach, I was very impressed to learn that because I'm like, that makes sense. You shouldn't always think you have all the answers and what I
Mhm.
say goes because those coaches are very like, tunnel vision and
Mm.
they're never gonna expand and understand what their clients really need and they want to be seen and heard because they're all so unique. But you should always be like, I can always learn from this. So when like Brooklyn said, when a client comes to you with data, you need to and they're like, "I'm not seeing results," and they're doing everything that you asked or recommend, you need to change something and take responsibility as a coach and be like, well, something I'm doing isn't working for them because if they're doing everything very consistently, even with like 90% accuracy, then I have to look at myself and say, okay, well, let's change because their body's not reacting because
Mhm.
all women are unique. So, like Brooklyn said, when women are put into a box during like a program, that's a huge red flag. So if you go to a coach and they might have amazing before and after photos, but that's just such a small part of the puzzle because if they don't ask their clients, how's your sleep? How's your digestion? Are you going to the bathroom every day? Are you extra stressed? How's your cravings? Are you hungry when you go to sleep? All these things, they don't ask anything except what's your weight. That's a huge red flag. Because if you are getting massive results and losing lots of weight like Camille did, but I'm sure she wasn't feeling good, right? I'm sure she felt awful. I'm sure her energy was terrible. Her muscle
She
was
lost a
gone.
lot of muscle.
Muscle,
Yeah,
which
Mhm.
it
is your
was.
metabolism. And as we're getting older, like in our 40s and 50s and 60s, like that's like the key to like anti-aging and to feeling good, your
Yes.
muscle. So if you're losing that and the coach just worried about seeing like a number on the scale, that's huge red flag because as women, we can't afford to lose muscle, especially once we get past 30.
Yeah. No, I love everything you guys both just said. Like, having a good coach in your corner, and this is why like doing programs don't work unless you have a coach who literally you get to talk to, like a real coach. Like I heard something someone was like, "Oh, AI is going to take over." I'm like, AI can't take over. Like I use
Oh,
ChatGPT.
no.
Don't get me wrong. I use it a lot, way more than I want to. But like I know the value of working with a coach who knows what they're doing, but also a value of a coach who is has like a listening ear, who is willing to listen to you and doesn't lead with arrogance and doesn't lead with I know everything and leads with I hear you, I see you, let's adjust or let's change. Or that was one thing, and I'll just tell you this story. I won't lie. Like after my last national show, I almost decided to switch coaches because I was so not this one, but the one before that. I was gonna switch coaches, and Paul, I don't know if Paul listens to these, but if he does, because I just was like, we're just not getting there. So instead of completely changing everything, because I'd been working with this coach, my coach Paul, who had like gotten me to this place where I'd never been to. I'd never placed so well at national shows. I've never placed like I won 3 overalls. Like I did so well in my competition year. Instead, what I did is I went to him and I communicated with him what I needed. I communicated him my frustrations and what I felt like we needed to work on and change. And at that point, we shifted gears and I put on like 6 pounds coming into my next show and I won my pro card. So just because, like, if you have a coach, and this is why I value a good coach. If you have a coach who listens to you and doesn't lead you with, like, and this is one thing with Paul. When I went to him and I said, look, I need this and this, he wasn't like, well, I don't care. We're just going to follow whatever I say. And like what you say doesn't matter. He was like, no, you're right. Let's do this. And then we kind of bounce back and forth. I feel like a coaching relationship to a client relationship is also needs to be kind of like, I always tell my clients it's 50 you, it's 50 me. If you can't communicate with me, I can't help you. If you're not telling me that your life is a shit show right now, I don't know why your body's gaining weight. But if you tell me my life's a shit show right now, Brooklyn, I'm struggling, I can come in and help you. So like I feel like everything you guys said like matches up, but also at the same time, like if one of the red flags with a coach is one who, if you go to them with like frustrations or like, mom, I told you, I said, go to her and tell her like you're frustrated. I didn't even think she came back with anything. She's like, oh, just follow the plan. Like that is a massive red flag because like I feel like Paul's like probably one of the best like coaches out there because he coaches a lot of natural competitors, which I love. Um he never comes and meets me with arrogance. He just meets me with like, okay, what do we need to change? And I feel like that's allowed me as a coach to also look at my clients like that. So I feel like everything you guys are saying is like red flag number 1 is too much restriction. Red flag number 2, major food rules. Red flag number 3, no education. I feel like that's a big red flag. If there's no education, there's no teaching. How do you expect your clients to follow what you're doing? Number 4, no listening. If you're afraid to talk to your coach about your screw up, I feel like there's a little bit. Like I have moments where I've been like, "Oh, I don't want to tell Paul that
I
because I
know.
don't want him to be disappointed in me, right?" But I always tell him because I know he's not going to meet me with like, "Oh, you suck. You're the worst." Like he's going to meet me with like, "Okay, thanks for letting me know." That's it, right? Like you shouldn't be afraid to talk to your coach about moments that you've had off. And also like you should be able to go to a coach who is like open-minded, like Amanda said, like a beginner's mindset.
Mhm.
If I don't know why my clients aren't responding, I will never say I know exactly why. I will say, I don't know, let's dig deeper. We dive deeper to their food, we dive deeper into their stress, we dive deeper into their digestion, we dive deeper into their food that they're eating. Like a good coach will get a magnifying glass and kind of look at all the things instead of saying, "Oh, it's you, not me."
Mhm.
So I feel like that's also a red flag. A good coach, a good program. I feel like a program is different than a coach. A program is something that you follow blindly without talking to anybody, right? A coach, working with a coach and following a program, they should just change and adjust the program based off how your body's responding. And it will be like this. It's not always a straight linear, like, this is the plan we're going to follow forever. Like I have clients that will be like, so if I do this for 4 months, then what do I do after that? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what your body's going to do. Will you need to eat lower calories? Do we need to reverse you at that point? I'm like, I have no idea. A good coach will take it as it comes and adjust accordingly. Outcome-based adjustments always.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
love that.
that's what makes a good coach.
Yeah, to add on to that's perfectly said. I feel like another red flag is you guys let me know if you agree, is when a coach is like gives you a timeline how much when you'll lose weight.
Oh, yes.
That is so, and it's so like it's so demotivating because of the clients literally doing everything that's asked of them and then they don't reach it. I've had so many times clients come to me, they're like, well, I did everything they asked. I didn't reach my goal weight. And they were like, well, I must have ate off plan. And I'm like, even if you did
Yeah.
off plan a little bit, that's expected. You're human. One,
Mm,
two, 100% perfection is not sustainable. I always say consistency, like Coach taught us, over perfection wins every time because you can stick to. And three, like everybody is so different. Like
Mhm.
Coach taught us, like you can take a woman that's 5'5", two women side by side, both 150 pounds, identical. Like when you look at them as far as their body shape and type, and if you give them each the same plan, guaranteed 9 times out of 10 they'll both lose weight different
or
because
one will gain weight and
well,
one
one
will
will
lose
gain weight
weight.
and one will lose weight because we're
Yeah.
so unique and our genetic makeup is a component and how much of that goes into play and hormones, metabolism. If one chronic dieted, her metabolism can be at a different place. There's so
Mhm.
many things. That's just a few things. So when someone's like, I guarantee to get you this weight by this day, I'm like, well, I know what they're going to do. They're going to give you an extremely low amount of calories, very low carbs, if any, an unsustainable way to lose weight, and you're going to be miserable. So even if you follow everything and you do get there, you're not going to be able to stay there if you ever
Yeah.
want to eat again. So it's really sad because that's when women start to think, oh, it's just me. And I'm like, no,
It's
that
me.
approach is not, it's that.
That's what's sad about women. I feel like women are so good at being like, it's me, it's my fault. When in reality, like it's the program you're doing, it's the coach you're working with. Like they're not aligning with you. And if your coach doesn't listen to you or the program doesn't adjust and change as you adjust and change, that's poor coaching, that's poor programming. Like you're whatever you do, like it needs to kind of flow with how your body's flowing. It shouldn't be like you follow this plan strictly and this is all you do. Like, oh my gosh, that's just going to lead you to like binge eating. That's going to lead you to saying I suck, my body hates me. A lot of times like women's bodies don't hate them and their bodies aren't like the worst. Like it's just that they just need a plan that works for their body. Like that's it, period. Like it's not it is sad though. I see that a lot, Amanda. Like a lot of women are
Yeah.
like they literally feel like it's their fault.
Yeah, like I had this one client, she's doing wonderfully now, and she was on, I think it's the HCG diet. I didn't even think
Yes.
I didn't even think that was still around.
Mom's like, I know that one.
No,
Like,
I had friends do it, and you can lose a lot of weight with that, but it
Is
comes
it
right back.
600 calories a day?
600 calories
They're
max a
exhausted.
day plus
Yes.
supplements. And she messaged her coach, and there was no coaching call. It was just like a texting thing, and which would even be fine if they communicate with her, but she would like do her weekly check. And she
Mm.
said, quote, I am not going to the bathroom like all week, like once. And the
Mm.
coach came back 2 weeks later and said, it
Two
was like
weeks
2 weeks later.
later.
It was something like ridiculous amount of time. And was like, didn't even address it. Just basically was like, well, what do you weigh? And are you following everything? And
Wow.
I was like,
That's really sad.
they never addressed it. And she was like, no, I kept waiting for it. They just said, just keep sticking to it. I'm like, when you're getting constipated, there's something's wrong. It's not you. Your
Mhm.
Body is saying, stop. We need more food, probably nutrients, not just pills. And the fact that the coach was just like, no, because she said he was very well. He had amazing transformations. I'm sure he did because he probably showed before and
Oh,
after
yeah.
within 3 months and didn't show what happened after when their bodies were all, he probably had GI issues for a while. Their gut health was probably awful and everything, but because he was so focused on I get thousand transformations and never responded to her concerns and she quit midway was I have like the worst like gut pains now and I'm sick to my stomach,
Oh,
nauseous, and they never addressed any of it. And I was just so sad for her because I'm like, they never addressed it. She's like, no, they just said, what do you weigh? And I was like,
They don't even care
they
about her
don't
as a
care.
person.
They do
They
not
just
care.
want money.
No.
I
So
had a
That's a huge red flag. Like
it's like, wow.
right there, I feel like, Amanda, a lot of women need to hear that because if you have a coach who you go to them and you say, like, if I have a client, literally, even if I have a texting only clients, because I have a few, I will actually get on the phone with them and be like, we need to talk ASAP. But like, I can tell you why she was constipated. She was only eating 600 calories a day. She probably wasn't getting any fiber. Her hormones were downregulated. Her thyroid was crap. Like, but with us, with our fierce queens, we don't put them. We will, no, we never go that low. Heavens no.
Not
the
even
thing with
close.
the
Yeah.
HCG diet. Is it HCG or H? Anyways,
I think
it's
it's HC.
they also take a shot. And if it's the one I'm thinking of, I had a friend do it years ago, 600 calories. It's from a doctor. And a lot of these doctors prescribe things that are really dangerous for your health because this is not their form of study. This is not what they've specialized in.
Yeah.
They're just giving it to you thinking, okay, well, this is supposed to help. And my friend, like, women have such strong minds. Like, you will push through anything. You want to lose weight, you want to get there, but at what risk? What are you doing to your
Women will
body?
literally eat dirt to lose weight. Like they will eat dirt
Uh-huh.
because
Well,
they want it so bad,
they want
you
it
know?
so bad, but they also
Yeah.
they stop living during that time. Like my friend couldn't move. Like you're not supposed to exercise. You're only supposed to walk so much because you don't have the energy.
That's
And it
crazy.
can,
So you
well,
don't pass out.
you just don't have the energy. So they're told not to do too much. And so they will do this for
Crazy.
so many months. And given the the outcome of something miraculous and your form of life through it is well. And it's so sad. And like you said, Amanda, you're just so sick by the time you get done with it. And then you gain all the weight back. And
Yeah.
then you start that whole cycle back and you lose faith in yourself. You lose faith in the diet culture. And it's so sad to watch people go through this. And I never did it because I'm like, my body can't do that. But there are women that will do it. They want it so bad. And it's these doctors, they should never prescribe these things. It's so sad, but it's part of our world.
That's
So,
another, I think, red flag we could also talk about is people going out of their scope and prescribing
Mhm.
diets.
mhm.
It's I see doctors doing it a lot. I will have especially because I work with population of women who perimenopause, PCOS, thyroid issues, and they go to doctors and their doctors, I'm sorry, if you're a doctor prescribing a diet, you're outside of your scope of practice. You should not be prescribing a diet if you're a doctor. You are a medical doctor, you prescribe medications and check like blood work and do all, but you shouldn't be prescribing diets because the thing is you are not checking in with that client. And that's what I've had, or that patient. Unless you were going in, meeting that doctor once a week, weighing in, doing measurements, going over, reviewing how you're feeling, how your energy is. Doctors don't do that. They don't have time for that. They are giving you a basic plan and saying, go follow this. I literally have had women, and I even had this happen to me. I had a doctor tell me, do keto, eat 1,000 calories a day, and you'll lose weight. I gained weight. It's like the peak of my PCOS. Like I gained weight. I had another doctor tell me like, "Oh, do fasting." I binged like many times because of that. Like I don't listen to doctors for dietary advice. Neither should any female because your doctors don't. You got to realize even MDs. I'm talking about MDs. I don't know about like functional medicine doctors, even them, they only get like not even a semester of nutritional training. And it's like the most basic. Like that means they have one class. That's like nutrition 101. Like and it's like the basic and it's not even like how to help because let's be honest, like what we do in Fierce Queen, it's very physio psychology-based nutrition and weight
Yes.
loss. We do very psychology-based because that's how you help women long term is make psychology-based like changes, like from food to mindset to exercise. But these doctors are like, no, just eat less, move more, you'll lose weight. And it can make women feel very like frustrated and discouraged if they can't follow it. And that's where a lot of like, I feel like if you're a doctor, like just stay in your scope of practice. Like stop prescribing diets to women that you know that you couldn't like, okay, I'm gonna use this as an example. Hopefully she doesn't listen to this. So I had a client years ago that was an OBGYN and she worked with a lot of women struggling to lose weight. Of course, she's an OBGYN. She works with the female population and she worked with specifically with women with PCOS. She asked me because she knew I had PCOS and she said, well, what do you recommend to women with PCOS? And I said, well, that's hard because I've worked with so many women who have PCOS and they all respond differently to different diets. And I'm like, what do you usually tell your patients to do? And she said, I tell them to eat 1,200 calories a day and follow keto. And I said, honestly, you shouldn't be prescribing that. You should be referring them to a dietitian. Even dietitians do a shitty job. I'm going to be
Mm-hmm.
honest. I actually have clients who are dietitians. They work with me to help them lose weight. It's because in dietetics school, they teach you a lot about microbiology and microchemistry. They don't teach you how to work with a person in front of you. So like I have a big frustration with like doctors and people like even just going out of their scope. You should work with a dietitian if you're like a type 1 diabetic, a type 2 diabetic, like you're trying to get certain things under control. But if you are not seeing progress with what you're doing from a doctor to a dietitian to your functional medicine doctor, you probably need to go work with someone who this is all they do all day. Like this is why like in our coaching program, and again, I'm like, here's a little plug for us, but like we do a damn good job because this is all we do. Like we aren't medical doctors with a million patients on our thing where we're visiting every day. Like we have seen the struggles women go through from a mental, physical, and emotional standpoint. And we can understand like the struggles that they go through. So this is why I feel like also doctors, like that's another red flag. Like if you have a doctor who's prescribing you a diet, that's a red flag. I'm sorry, your doctor shouldn't be prescribing diets. That's out of their scope of practice.
And I have seen some doctors that prescribe things that are really quite overweight themselves. I've known them.
Yeah.
I
And you're
know.
just,
I'm like,
how can
what?
you do
Well,
that?
that
It's
was
like
my
they
client
can't
who was
follow
an
it.
OB.
Oh my.
And I asked her that. That's funny you say that. I asked her that and I said, "Well, I'm going to just ask you this cuz she was, not the healthiest weight." And I said, "Would you follow this?" And she goes, "I tried keto for a week and I stopped." And I said, "Then why do you prescribe it to your patients?" I'm like,
Oh
"That's
my
not fair."
goodness.
And she goes, "Well, my
No.
patients, they don't have and some of them don't have money and they can't afford." And I said, "Okay, well, maybe you should just stop going out of your scope of practice and frustrating them because you're probably causing them to have binge eating problems. Like follow a strict diet and then binge eat. Oh, I suck. I'm the worst. I can't follow this diet. Binge eat again." Like, yeah, that's true, mom. I see a lot of doctors are like prescribing diets and I'm like, "But you're overweight and
Yeah.
like you have a big gut. Like why would I follow
Right?
what you tell me to do when you have high blood pressure and like
Yeah.
dude, like no."
Like stay, no
Yeah.
offense, but stay in your lane.
That's
No,
right.
for in your lane. I feel like that's red flags of coaches and programs. Like, I don't know. That's one I see. That's really hard for me because I have a lot of women who go to doctors and it's almost like they trust them so much.
Yeah.
And they just are like, oh, my doctor's going to fix everything. I'm sorry, but the biggest and heaviest I've ever been is when I trusted doctors from medications to diets. The very heaviest I've ever been. When I stopped relying on them to help me, like from that perspective, I actually lost weight. I kind of did it myself. Because the thing is when you're trying to lose weight, like I don't know, doctors are they're in the box, back to the box. They're in the
Mhm.
box. They want to put you in the box. Women don't belong in boxes. We're over here.
Yeah.
We're like out here. We're over here.
Well, our bodies
Yeah.
are so unique. Even throughout your lifetime, our bodies go through so many changes. Like when I was younger and I was in my baby years, like having babies, geez, it was really hard for me to lose weight because my body was just doing this like crazy. It's my body now, for me, my body runs really well. It works really well. And a lot of that's just getting older and learning what works for me, but also I think your body goes through so many changes hormonally that like the 20, 30-year-old Camille that struggled losing weight can finally now do it. And it's a lot of mental, but it's also a lot of hormones and me learning what works for my body. Like it's taken years,
Mm.
years of perfecting what works for my body. But it's also, I think the coolest thing now that's happened to me is like, I'm going to cry about because it's macros. It's like you learn that you can eat what you want. And like macros is just we used to do calories when I was younger. Like you had a certain amount of calories. And now it's to me it's even perfected even more because we can eat carbohydrates, we can eat fats, we can eat protein, and we just put it into a formula that we like and that our coaches kind of design specifically for us. And then we can then take that and run with it. Like, what do I like to eat? And you can eat whatever you want. That's what's been the coolest thing for me that is sustainable. I can do it for the rest of my life because I can follow it every day. I can eat exactly what I want. I can eat my yummy foods and I can eat my healthy foods. Yeah, and I still label them because it's fun that I get to eat it all. Like as long as I'm eating the right proteins, not the right proteins, as long as I'm eating my protein, I can eat whatever I want. Otherwise, I just put it into a formula that works for me. And I can do this for the rest of my life. I can do
I
it on
love
vacation.
that.
Yeah. And years ago,
It's either you're dieting or you're not dieting, and
yeah,
now you've
now
found this balance.
and
Yeah,
it's
but it's also it's not
wonderful.
just macros, like, you've taken away
The stigma.
the restriction, like, I can't have
Yeah.
this and I can't have this. You've
Yes.
kinda just given yourself permission to be like, well, and also, like, you're eating enough protein too, and I feel like that's where a lot of women get lost, like, they're like, "Well, I'm eating healthy," and I'm like, "Yeah, but you're eating, like, 60 grams of protein a day." Like, that's why you're
Yeah.
so hungry because 'cause you're not
Mhm.
getting enough protein, like so, like, for you, mom, you're getting enough protein, you're eating enough carbs, you're eating enough fats, but, like, you're still able to eat all the foods you love, but your metabolism and your hormones aren't starving, so
Mhm.
you don't feel this need and urge to just like gorge yourself all the time. Plus, you've also worked on your relationship with food and you are very like balanced with, like, and I even saw this at Disney, both me and you. Like, when we were full, we were full, we were done. We didn't say, oh, let's go get more and more and more and more. Like, we
Yeah.
didn't go like every second we could because it was a free day. It's interesting. I don't think me and you have ever like fully done that. And I think that that's the huge development. Well, I've never seen you do that, to be
No.
honest. Like, that's probably the first time I've ever seen you just be like, I'm full, I'm done. And I think that's you working on your relationship with food. So a lot of women, I think too, like, remember, if you struggle with your relationship with food, which I would say almost all women, if you are over the age of 30, you have struggled with your relationship with food at one point, because that means you've spent your, you know, early years, in the Victoria's Secret era, the 90s, which is like the low fat,
Yes,
or
the
the low fat, and
low
then the
fat diet.
80s is the Atkins diet, the
Mhm.
2000s is like the keto. So you've lived through the diet era of skinny, skinny, starve yourself. And now what you need to work on as a female over the age of 30, 40, 50, fueling yourself, eating enough protein is huge. Lifting and training the right way, and then, working on your relationship with food, not restricting yourself from everything, finding that balance. You can do that. Like, you're going to get to a place like where my mom is, where I am, where Amanda is. Like, and I think like with you, mom, like that's been everything for you.
It's been life-changing. I've loved it. But it was something that seriously Brooklyn brought to my life and also Dakota's life. It was like you get to the point where your body's so sick and your mind is just so tired. I'm gonna say this to all you women out there and to you girls because I think it's really important. This is one of the things I was thinking about this morning. If you could talk to your younger self, like what would you tell her? Like what advice would you give her? And I always think to myself, don't ever give up. Don't ever give up. It's so important because you get to this other side of, oh my gosh, this is working. Like I've been doing this for years now. It's working. And my younger self, I mean, more like 8 years ago. And there have been times that I have done macros in between that I've had harder coaches that you get really frustrated. You're like, it's me. Like, I just, I'm not doing what they want me to do. And just don't ever give up. You're going to find that balance. You're going to find it. It's going to come. And when you do, like, you'll feel so good, like, oh my gosh, I can do this. And so, yes, always just that younger person, that younger, I always think of my younger Camille. What would you tell her? Like, and you're doing this for her, and you're going to get there one day, and you're going to be so proud and so happy. And like, I can do this now. I can live this for the rest of my life.
I love that. I
Yeah.
I had a conversation with a client before this call about this literally. She just was like, "Man, I'm so frustrated." She's 60, mom. She's close to your age and she looks at you and she just thinks like the world of you and she's like, "Oh, your mom looks so amazing." And I said, "But you got to realize like my mom also went through a lot of shitty coaches
A
and a lot of
lot.
shitty training before she's gotten to where she is." Like, and it took her finally just being consistent with it for a long time to be where she is.
It's
Like,
taken
she
years.
didn't just yeah, she doesn't just look the way she is in a few months, like and I said, but also it started with her mindset. She had to trust and just like I remember I told you, mom, I was like, "Mom, you need to get back in the gym and start training. Like you need to start weightlifting heavy." And I even like told you, I was like, "Mom, go start training with Aaron again, like your trainer at the gym you used to train with." And you were like, "I'm scared." I'm like, "But he's gonna push you to lift heavy.
Mhm.
And also he'll keep you safe from your with your hip injury." And then we started doing macros, and that was kind of a that was
A
I had to
turning
teach you with
point.
that. Coda taught you with that. Like it is kind of like a learning curve to learn
Mhm.
macros,
It
but it
is.
is really eye-opening when women can understand it and do it because it teaches you how to read nutrition labels. And if you don't understand your nutrition labels and you don't understand what you're putting in your mouth, you're kind of wasting your time. I feel like, and it's an education portion
Mhm.
too. A lot of women think like they can just follow. Like I'll have a client like, just give me a meal plan, I'll follow. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, I will give you guidelines, but you need to understand the macros. You need to understand the nutrition, but you need to also ask me questions when you're not understanding and you're confused so I can help you. So like for you mom, it was like a huge learning curve.
It
But once
was.
you got over the curve, you are at a place where I mean, I look at you and I'm like, you look nowhere near like your late 50s or 60s, not
Not
even
at all.
close. Like I'll see 6-year-old
Thank
women
you.
and I'm like, wow, like you look like you're 80 compared to mine.
But
And
what's
it's just because you take care of yourself. That's all.
thanks.
You work really hard at it.
I work really hard at it. When you've had injuries and you've had your health taken from you, like I had autoimmune issues. My gut was severely, oh, it had just been hurt for years. And a lot of it is just all the yo-yo. These women, I look at them, I'm like, it's because they've kind of given up. I mean, they've worked so hard for
Yeah.
years and they've never seen results. And you just give up, you lose hope. And I work really hard for my health because I know what the alternative is. You either stay healthy and you work your ass off for everything. I mean, I do. I go and I work in the gym. I work hard. I mean, I have
But
really good friends there that I talk to, but I lift heavy duty weights. I'm very
so mom,
precise with my
my
training.
question to you is like the woman who is like, I have, and I'm sure you see this, Amanda, but when do I not have to work hard at this?
Always. I will never let it go because I know the minute I stop moving, I've had a hip injury and I had a hip replacement. I have a knee that hurts. And
Yeah.
if I go for more than 2 or 3 days of, well, really just 2 days of not moving, my body's going to be sore. I
So
move.
it's, what is it?
I would
You know?
much rather be sore at the gym and work hard. I do very little cardio. I lift massive heavy weights and I've had to go
Yeah,
down
you
on
do.
those weights a little bit just because I'm being very precise with my movements. I'm in bodybuilding, so very precise movements, but every day it is worth it for me to wake up, go to the gym. It's not just for my physical self, it's for my mental health. It makes you happy when you go someplace and you feel strong and empowered, like you can kick ass. And it took me a long time to get there. I went with my trainer that I used to train with about 23, 24 years ago. Um, I went back to him and I started lifting heavy and I started very slow. And it was a very slow progression just because I had so many injuries and I still get injured. I still do stupid things. And I mean, really stupid things. And then I get injured, but I never stop. I use bands when I'm injured. I learn. I still have my trainer at the gym. I learn. how to move my body, work around those injuries, and I keep moving. I never stop lifting weights because you can do so much even when you're injured. And that just helps your body when you're injured to get better faster. Like I fell down a flight of stairs like years ago and I had been lifting heavy weights, and the only thing that protected my body was my weight training. I remember falling down those stairs and I couldn't breathe. I really hurt myself bad, but the weight training that I had been doing protected my back. Those muscles held my body tight. And I know that if I fall now and I hurt myself, those muscles will protect my bones.
Yes.
It's such a safety precaution as you get older. It's it's for health, it's safety precaution, it's preventative. It's for me, it's not so much how I look. I mean, it's fun to be able to wear bikinis and fun shorts and clothes, but I feel so good. I feel so deep down good inside. And that's worth everything as you get older, just everything. And so for those women that they may think that they'll never get there, you will. Just keep going day by day. You'll get there. And it
Well,
is a slow process.
hiring the right help too is everything.
The
Like
right help.
you need to work with the right people. Like this is a big reason why I started this, like why I started Fierce Queen, because I saw there was a huge lack in the industry of coaches that actually cared about their clientele and listened to them and made adjustments for them and actually like coached the person in front of them. This is a big reason why I started Fierce Queen, is because like everything mom's saying, she's at where she is at because she's had the right help and the right coaching, but she wouldn't be where she is without that help. And so like, yes, like you
Sure.
will get there, but if you keep trying all these things you've been doing that haven't worked, you're going to still be stuck. Like women think like, "Oh, I'll just do what I did." That's why you're stuck. I always tell clients, I'm like, if you want to stay where you're at, just keep doing what you've been doing. But it hasn't been working for you, so you need to change it. You need to work with a coach who actually knows what the hell they're doing. You need to work with a coach who can listen to you, make adjustments, and you need to work with someone who's going to push you to be better and level you up. Like, that's like everything mom just said. Like, mom, like, yeah, like you went through a massive journey with everything, but also, you got to a point where you were doing these beach body workouts. And I remember I was like, Mom, and I like saw you in the gym training, and I was like, I think you sent me some videos, and I was like, Mom, you need to go to the gym and like lift. Like I literally told
Yeah.
you, I was like, you need to go to the gym and you need to start lifting heavier because you're not going to see progress with training at home because you're not as motivated. Because you even told me yourself, oh, when I was at the gym, I trained really heavy. And then you did, and you started building more muscle. And then like doing macros, like not to, it wasn't just doing, because people think like, oh, I'll just do macros and I'll see results. Camille does macros, I do macros. No, Camille's macros work because she has a coach who follows up with her, who makes outcome based adjustments based off how her body's responding. Her training works because she has a coach in her corner who makes adjustments based off how her body's responding. You're not going, I'm sorry, but if you want to look like my mom, like, I have a lot of women who are, like, in love with you, mom, and they wanna look like you, and I know they
So
listen to this.
sweet.
You have to stop doing what you've been doing. It's not going to work. It hasn't worked. So I was, if it hasn't worked, then why do you think it's going to keep working? Stop doing it. You need to work with someone who knows what they're doing. This is, like, exactly why we have Fierce Queen Fitness. Like, my mom's a coach now. If you wanna work with her, comment below, Camille, I'll send you some info. Amanda's a coach. I'm a coach. Like, this is what we do all day. This is why we did this podcast, because, like, we're letting you know these are the red flags, but also there are people out there who actually care. And like every single one of us has been through the ringer with coaches. We've been through the ringer with things that don't work, but we also know what does work because we have the right education and schooling, and we have the experience. That's a big one. We have the experience to understand. So again, like kind of relating back to what you said, mom, like you are where you are because yeah, you work hard, and like yes, women shouldn't give up, but maybe stop doing the things that aren't working for
Right.
you anymore.
Right. Exactly.
Like for you, mom, you did all this. It was like you did all the diets ever in the whole world, but they were all the exact same diets. They were all the
Basically,
same. They
yeah.
were restrictive and they sucked. You did the same workouts over and over again. They were all the same. They were all videos at home, beach body workouts, and like Pilates style workouts. Like that didn't work for you. Your body changes came when you went into the gym and you started lifting like a freaking beast. Like women Lift, like, let me give you guys a formula here for those listening. If you want a formula to look like my mom's, lift heavy, heavier than you think you can lift. If you're worried about your form, go hire a trainer, a good trainer, not a shitty trainer. Okay. Those are hard to find. Go work with someone who knows what they're doing. You need to follow a structured program for training. You can't just go follow random workouts on Instagram and expect to get body changes. You're not going to see results that way. You have to have a program, a training plan that's progressively increasing your weights and overloading your muscles to see muscle growth. Nutrition. If you want to lose body fat, your nutrition needs to be dialed in for your body. It shouldn't be cookie cutter. Don't go calculate your macros on Google because that's a
Mm,
waste of time. You need to work with a coach who can make adjustments based on how your body's responding, period. Because I have a lot of women, they're like, well, I went on Google and I calculated my macros and this is what it said. And I'm like, cool, follow those. You're going to gain a bunch of weight or you're going to lose weight and you're not going to look good. Like Google is not a coach who understands what's going on. Okay. And to not to mention, when you work with a coach from a psychological standpoint, we keep you in a good place. Like if you're having a bad day or you feel like you screwed up, your coach will get you back on track pretty quickly. Keeping
Right.
you accountable. That's another big thing. Like accountability is everything. Like
Accountable. Yes.
yeah, like that was a big thing for me after I won my pro card. Like I told myself I would still check in with my coach every week and I did and I have. And it's been so important. So, bringing it back to red flags. Let's keep it short and concise because we're at like a minute 6 here. Amanda, I'm going to have you like name 3 that are big for you that are red flags. Mom, 3 for you and then 3 for me and then we'll end it.
I would say number one, cookie cutter programs that work for men, women, children, and there's nothing that's tailored to you. 2, not the right support. They tell you what to do, they don't listen to you, and like Brooklyn said, make adjustments on the outcome of your progress and not just a base. And 3, it should be something you can do for life. Like Camille, like, obviously, it's gonna change a little bit as things in your life change, like, if you're losing weight versus maintaining, but it shouldn't be such a drastic thing, like, no carbs, and then whenever one day lost all the weight, then you can eat carbs. It should be something that's very easy to sustain for life and enjoy your life.
Love that.
Yes. 3 for me, red flags. You need to be able to trust your coach. You need to be able to talk to them. That's really important. That communication is really important. Tell them what you need to talk to them about. It's really important for you to
The
be
good
able
and
to
the bad.
talk. Yes. Yes. I don't know if I have 3
Yeah.
things because you guys just have all covered them, but eat the food that you want. I mean, I think that's really important. Um, like Amanda said, the lifestyle, that's huge. You need to be able to love your food because you will
Mm,
stay with it.
I
And
like
then
that.
don't be like these probably aren't red flags, but don't be intimidated to go to the gym. Like go there and know that you can conquer it. Like just go there.
Yeah.
And so those are my 3
Just start.
things. Yes, just
Yeah,
start.
just start.
Like hire somebody. That has been my biggest game changer. So
Yeah.
accountability. So yeah, you guys have already covered them. So yes,
Those
wonderful.
are those are like I feel like they work well with Amanda's though because they're
Hmm.
kind of like yours weren't necessarily red flags, but yours were like this is what you can do instead.
Yeah, I love
Hire
that.
help, just start and eat the foods you love. And if you don't eat the foods you love, you shouldn't be doing it.
Right.
Like, yeah, that's
Period.
kind of
Yeah. Boom. Yeah.
Yes.
I like that.
everything you just said.
Boom.
Yeah. So, really, at the end of the day, like, for those of you who are listening, in Fierce Queen Fitness, like, we do not put our clients in boxes, like, ever. We look at each individual client as they're going through what they're going through, and we make outcome based adjustments off that. We get them progress, we get them results. But honestly, a big thing with me, and this is why. I will never transition my business to a subscription based business because I loved one-on-one training in the gym because I got to build a relationship with my clients and I love my relationships with my clients right now. Like Jordan even said to me the other day, he goes, well, what if eventually like you did want to step away from the business? And I said, no, I'll never stop coaching because it's a part of who I am. I keep doing this because I love women and I want to help them. I genuinely do. And every single one of my coaches, Amanda, my mom, and Dakota, like we want to help these women. So like if you are looking for help, if you're looking for coaching and you're like, yes, all these red flags, I've been through all of it. I'm sick of this shit. Like just comment below coaching or go onto Instagram, send me a message coaching, let's chat. Love to help you. But if not, I hope that this podcast was helpful for you today to maybe just help you align better with better coaches or better help so you can actually get to your results, because nothing's more frustrating than putting your money and time and energy into something and it's not yielding the results you want. So, anything else you guys wanted to add, Mom or Amanda?
I
No.
think it's perfectly
Yes.
well.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you guys. Again, this is our Fierce and Fit and Fabulous at Any Age podcast. Again, with Amanda and my mom, Camille. It's just weird that I call you Camille. If you guys are, again, if you're watching this on YouTube, what else do we have? Apple or Spotify. Comment below, even like maybe a bad experience you had with a coach, or what changed for you. So, anyways, I hope you guys have a great day and thank you for hopping on.